Hey friends, this is Wendy with Love and Stampin', and I am so excited you're here with me today. I'm going to use my BetterPress for the very first time. This is from Spellbinders, and I was very intrigued by this product. I got this actually quite some time ago, and I just haven't gotten around to using it. It came with some cotton BetterPress sheets, some yellow tape to hold stuff in place that won't tear the paper, the BetterPress, and BetterPress ink. I've got questions. And we're gonna work through this video together, and I'm gonna show you what I did. So to start, you just have to take your BetterPress plate and place it face up on the base of the BetterPress. And it's magnetic, by the way, and you want to do it within that A2 area if you're making an A2 size card. And the grid lines really are helpful because it keeps everything lined up how it should be. And then I'm going to take my BetterPress ink, and this is just because I don't know if other ink works. So what I'm hoping is that you're going to tell me if other inks work. I did recently watch a video with Kelly Taylor using some different inks with the BetterPress, but they were all like black inks that would work with like Copic coloring and stuff like that. I actually used my Copic markers with this ink. I don't know if that was safe to do or not, but I did. So you'll see that here in a little bit. So this video is not a I'm teaching you how to video. This video is I'm learning how to. And I think both types of videos are valuable. So you take your A2 paper, you line it up within those little marks, the A2 marks, and then you just tape it down, and then you're ready to turn it over. And when you turn it over, it's magnetized. It slips right into those little spots. Oh, you got to ink up your plate, your BetterPress plate. So I'm inking it up really well. I did find that it was kind of hard for me to tell what was inked and what wasn't. But the beauty of this is you can restamp it because everything stays in exactly the same place. So if it doesn't work well the first time, you can always restamp. So here I'm just continuing to ink this up, trying to make sure I have all the ink that I need, laying this on top. Now, just so you know, this pushes down. So it's actually not impressed until you run it through a machine. Now, I don't have the Spellbinders Platinum 6, so I used my old Stampin' Up! Machine. This is what I have, and I truthfully just cannot justify purchasing another machine. I would really, really love to have the Platinum, but at this time, I just can't justify this spend. So here I added a shim because when I ran it through the first time, I wasn't sure. It didn't really feel like it was difficult to go through. So I actually ran it through 3 times. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, when you're putting a die through, you can kind of feel like there's a click. Okay, but look at this. I've got to tell you guys, you know, when you see something online, like you see a recipe or a dessert and it looks perfect, like Pinterest, Instagram perfect. And then you make it and you're like, well, that's some lies. Whoever made this is a liar. I kind of felt like that was going to be the case with the BetterPress. I've seen amazing card makers use the BetterPress. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to use it and it's not going to look the same. Guys, look at it. It is incredible. So for those of you who are like, I just don't get the difference. What is the difference between stamping and using these press plates? Okay, here's the difference. One is that these emboss, or deboss. So the metal pushes in on the cotton paper and leaves a debossed impression. And then 2 is the lines are so fine. Like, I really don't feel like video or photos do this justice. And I've watched many videos and seen many photos. And I just have to tell you, until you see it in person, it's really hard to grasp how cool this looks. It looks, I personally have never had any experience with Letterpress. Nothing like that. So I didn't really know what to expect using this. I didn't know if this was just going to be like one of those things that, like I said earlier, you see online and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And then you go to recreate it and it doesn't work. Okay, so here, I lied to you. I just realized I lied to you. I used the BetterPress ink for the first one, but here I used Hero Arts Intensified Black ink because I wanted to Copic color. It's all coming back to me now. As you can see, I have the 4th of July nails. That's how long ago I recorded this video. So I'm going to run this through after just using the Hero Arts Intensified Black ink because that is Copic marker safe. And these are the images I colored with my Copic markers. The flowers I colored with colored pencils. And look at that. It's really gorgeous. I mean, I feel like you just are not going to be able to get it in video and photos. So after stamping these, I had die cuts that would cut these out. By the way, I'm going to link to everything I used today below this video. There's 2 links. There's one that says supply list, and there's one that says, or supplies, I think, and there's one that says blog post. You can click on either one of those to go find the supplies. So then I had this other letterpress set from, I think this one's from Hero Arts. I had just purchased some different ones on sale and stuff like that, just so I could have something to play with. Because I really didn't know what the outcome was going to be with this. Now I can honestly say this is a tool that I will regularly use. Is it what I would consider, okay, well, let me back up. First of all of card making is a extra thing, right? It's not something we have to do. Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like I have to, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, it's not food and water, right? But being creative is my way to stay sane personally. So, doing this is really, really fun for me and exciting. However, could you do your stamping and card making for the rest of your life without having a BetterPress? Probably. But like everything else we add on to our collections, this is just one more fun thing to do. And I specifically could see doing this for some sort of really fancy occasion, like a wedding, invitation, special thank you cards, some sort of graduation thing, because it really is decadent. It's elegant, it's intricate, it's all the kits. So I personally could totally see having this in my arsenal. So I guess the reason I'm saying this is because some of you have said, like, what's really the point of having a BetterPress? I've seen that in comments on other people's videos, or like, oh, it's just not something I can justify or whatever. By all means, if you don't feel like you can justify it, I get it. What I'm saying to you is I think it's worthy of having in your arsenal. That's all. If, you're looking for something to ask for Christmas or your birthday, this would be a good thing to ask for, especially if you're an avid card maker, you've been making cards for a long time, you have all the things. This is another fun thing to add to your collection. So I wasn't sure exactly how the Copics would work on this cotton paper, but it turns out they work great. I did watch a video with Kelly Taylor where she shared coloring with Copics, and it looked pretty good. So I was like, well, I'm going to give it a try. So I did. You do have to use this special paper for everything to work well, because the thing is, the metal has to impress into the paper. So I bought myself a large pack of the cardstock that is like the cotton cardstock, and that's what I have it. I have it like in its own drawer, in its own space, and that's what I'll use. Here I'm using my Misty ruler to make a line on each side of the word smiles. I just did this because I felt like it kind of grounded the images more. It made everything feel kind of more finished. And the cool lines that make up the sentiment itself, I felt like this would lend itself well to the look. And it did. It really looks cool. I love it. And then I'm just going to add those beautiful little strawberries to the top with, I already added them. Or no, I didn't. Sorry. Remember I said it's been a while since I recorded this. I added it with Alta New foam tape. So I'm going to end up making 3 finished cards here today. We're going to make some with lemons, these here, and then I'm going to color the flowers with my Prisma color pencils. So once I get this put down, I'll be able to put this on a card base. I was just trying to decide how I wanted to place this on this layer. Dixie. Oh my gosh, you guys. So here's the thing. Okay, if you've been around here for a while, you know we do story time. So basically, here's what's happening in our lives. We got another dog. Yep. It's been a while since we got her, but I haven't shared because I didn't know if we were keeping her. I know that sounds awful, but she's an adoptive dog. We adopted her, and I had to make sure she was going to be able to work with our family, like the other dogs. I can't obviously bring a new dog into the home that is older from a situation. She's not old, but she's old enough to have like an attitude and a personality and all of that. And so she's not a baby. And so bringing a new dog into the home, you just don't know how the other dogs are going to react. And we have all females. So I had to make sure that there was, everything was going to be okay before I could say, yes, we're keeping her and make the announcement. So yes, we are keeping her. Her name is Dixie. She is a Catahoula Plot Hound mix. Probably a whole bunch of other stuff mixed in there too. I actually think there's some English Mastiff in there based on the size of her paws. So she's beautiful. She's very, very smart, super sweet. Honestly, we have had 0 problems with her. I have to admit, when we got her, I was kind of like, I'm not sure about this. And I kind of even had it in my head, like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to last. And she's amazing. She's a really good little dog. Or big dog, I guess I should say. She is definitely much more mischievous than my other dogs were. Truvy and Skeeter are playful and rambunctious, but they weren't like naughty. This one is a little naughty. She gets into stuff she's not supposed to. She's pretty hard-headed, which definitely is in line with the Plot Hound and the Catahoula. They're very strong-willed, hard-headed dogs, but they're also fiercely loyal, extremely smart. Like right now, I don't know if you can hear this throughout the video in the background. She's chewing on the corner of a plastic box, and I've told her to stop doing it 1,000 times. Dixie, stop it. And then she looks at me with that cute puppy dog face and perks her ears up. Don't do it, Dixie. She's going right back to it. This is what I mean. With my other dogs, I could tell them no something a couple of times, and that was it. End of story. They didn't try it again. And in fact, the funniest thing is when I get onto Dixie, Skeeter comes and sits by me like, I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with this. Truvy has accepted her just fine. Truvy is our alpha female, so she's put her in her place a couple of times already, and I'm sure there will be more of that to come. But they both have accepted their spot. Skeeter is not an aggressive dog at all whatsoever. I mean, like, not even kind of pretending. Like, she is the sweetest, like my husband described it the other day. Like, if a bee were to get on her and sting her, she would be like, okay, B, I'm going to let you sting me, but could you hurry, please? Because this kind of hurts. Like, like that's Skeeter. So she's had a hard time figuring out how to play with the puppy because the puppy wants to like play tug of war and stuff. And Skeeter just drops the toy. She's like, well, I'm not going to fight for it. I mean, yeah, it's bad. So it kind of makes me a little sad for Skeeter just because she's so submissive and so sweet that I feel like maybe she's kind of getting overshadowed a little bit. But we spend a lot of time together, just Skeeter and I snuggle her a lot and let her know she's still my baby. Dixie is really my daughter's dog. So she actually paid her adoption fee. She purchased her kennel. She did all the things. This is really her dog. She sleeps in her room. She completely takes care of her when she's home. We don't do it. When she's not home, I'm obviously in charge. So I do take care of Dixie when Macy's gone and make sure that she's, getting out to go potty and playing and all those things. It was a really hard decision to let my teenage daughter have a dog at this age. I can just always remember wanting a dog of my own so badly. And so honestly, my husband is the one that said yes. I didn't think he would ever say yes. And I was a little bit shocked. I kind of laid it on him to be the bad guy in this situation because I've told her no so many times I can't even count. And he told her yes. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here we go. We're getting another dog. So, that's kind of how we ended up where we are. And then, of course, I'm never really going to say no to a new dog. It just does change the dynamics of your family with your dogs when you get a new one. If you've ever had more than one dog, you know what I mean. The older dogs that you already have kind of take some time to adjust and they aren't sure about it. And it can kind of change their behaviors a little bit. Not necessarily bad, but just like, they're thrown off. Like, what is this? When is it leaving? Why is it here? And then after some time, they realize, okay, this thing is sticking around. I guess I'll be friends with it. So it just takes a little time. There's an adjustment period. The beauty of Dixie is we have not had to potty train her. She's already potty trained. She's not pottied once in the house, which has been incredible. So that alone has been like amazing. She asks to go potty when she needs to. She goes right to the door and paws at it and you can let her out. So that has been incredible. I've always had very tiny puppies. Dixie's about 3-ish months old, maybe close, like 14 weeks. I think whoever had her before probably like started working with her maybe. Because like I said, either that or she's just incredibly smart. So I'm not sure which. Anyway, that's the scoop. Back to these cards. So here I'm just going in with a second color that's a little bit darker and adding some shading to all of these leaves. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the flowers. So let's talk a little bit about the shading. I have learned how to Copic color from really two people, Sandy Allnock and Kelly Taylor. Sandy Allnock is probably one of the best Copic marker teachers I have ever come across. She explains things really, really well. She goes slow so you don't feel overwhelmed. I highly recommend if you're interested in like learning how to use any kind of coloring medium, watercolor, Copic markers, watercolor pencils, color pencils, anything, check her channel out. Kelly is excellent as well at teaching concepts with Copic markers. She makes beautiful one-layer scene cards and is just extremely talented as well. And it's been fun because I've been following Kelly for ages now. I don't even know however long she's had a YouTube channel. I watched her very first YouTube video. So, and we're actually now friends, which is really cool. So, I've watched her coloring evolve and her skill set evolve, which has been really fun. Let's talk about where I'm adding the shading on the petals. So if you notice, these petals kind of curl up on themselves. So I added the shading inside those petals versus like on the outside so that you can see that they're curling up. And that's it. That's all 3 cards. I had a lot of fun playing with the BetterPress. I had a lot of fun introducing you to Dixie. If you want to pick up a BetterPress, I'll provide a link below the video that has the supplies like I told you earlier. And you can watch another video from me by clicking either one you see here. Subscribe to my channel by clicking the circle with my face in it. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.